Trump's former White House chief of staff, Mark Meadows, is calling out the 13 Republican congressmen who voted in favor of the bipartisan infrastructure bill. In fact, he's going so far as to say that these individuals should be punished by GOP leadership. Here he is making the argument while speaking to Steve Bannon.
You saying, sir, that you would strip these people of their committees?
Absolutely. Listen, they stripped Marjorie Taylor Greene of her committees for not even voting against the Republican Party. These people voted for Joe Biden for an infrastructure bill that will clear the way for more socialist spending that, quite frankly, gives Joe Biden a win. I don't know how you can send a clearer message than saying, listen, obviously you're not on our team. We're going to give that leadership position to somebody else.
Okay, listen, we're gonna get to the topic at hand in a minute, which is the proposal to punish Republican lawmakers for voting the way that they wanted to vote on the bipartisan infrastructure bill. To say that the bipartisan infrastructure bill, which is a corporate giveaway, is somehow socialist spending is hilarious. There are some provisions that do some things for some people, like expanding broadband internet and all of that. But it's $550 billion of new spending. There are provisions that would privatize public infrastructure, which I don't know, maybe I'm remembering my Marxism incorrectly, but that doesn't quite qualify as a socialist program. But this nonsense messaging coming from Republicans doesn't matter if it's right or wrong, right? What matters is that they're good at putting the messaging out. And they are good at putting that kind of messaging out. And Republicans are incredibly forceful in doing so, whereas Democrats refuse to really message appropriately, persistently, and accurately. Like Democrats are just a complete and utter mess, and they're being labeled as socialists when it comes to a corporate giveaway bill. It's amazing, Cenk.
Okay, Anna, look, it's understandable. You missed it. It was chapter 17 of Das Kapital, where Karl Marx talks about privatizing infrastructure so that the capitalists can justly make more money on public roads. I can't believe you missed it. That's just a huge part of Marxism is capitalists running giant corporations making more money off the public. Okay, it's absurd. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Socialist doesn't mean anything anymore. It's just a generic word they use. Oh, now they're giving out candy at Halloween. Socialists, right? Or they're not giving out candy at Halloween. Socialists, right? So when you hear socialists, understand from a Republican or a right winger, understand that they're purposely, well, they're partly being a dumbass, but really they assume you're a dumbass that doesn't know the word, doesn't need to know the word, and they can just use it as a boogeyman and you'll never look it up. Okay, so now, and then he says about Marjorie Taylor Greene, like she didn't even vote anyway, and they stripped her of her committee assignments, neglecting to point out that the reason they stripped her of the committee assignments is because she said there were Jewish space lasers that burn our forests. Cuckoo, cuckoo. Okay, so now, but the most important part is this. Look, when he and the other extreme right wingers or the populist right wingers, if you want to be super fair to them, say, hey, there should be consequences for this vote. We should strip the people who did not vote with our party from their committee assignments. I don't think that that's a out of bounds political strategy. Yeah.
Breaking news, Cenk Uygur agrees with Mark Meadows. This is Wolf Blitzer. This is not actually breaking news, but I'm gonna pretend like it is. Cenk, back to you.
Okay, yeah, I mean, later the New York Times will pretend that I was best friends with Mark Meadows, and that's the only thing I've ever done in my life. Okay, so anyways, look, by the way, do the Democrats do that? Yeah, they do, but for the exact opposite reasons. And that you never see in the news, okay? They will threaten progressives' committee assignments. This happens very regularly, guys. I have direct knowledge of this, okay? They threaten committee assignments of progressives if they don't vote for corporate-backed bills. And if oh my God, if a progressive ever said, hey, we're doing this because a corporation just paid Kristen Sinema $1.2 million in campaign donations, they'd be stripped of all their committee assignments. That person told the truth. That person criticized one of our own for honestly and correctly for being corrupt. That's it. If you're not corrupt in the Democratic Party, they will take away all your power. So that is politics. Mark Meadows is just saying it outwardly in the open, and on their side, they're using it to go more populist instead of going more corporate. Now, the Republican Party's entire point of existence is to help giant corporations. So this is an amazing marketing job by the right wing, amazing, right? But they understand that the country wants populism. They hate the establishment. So they have brilliantly captured the populist mantle, making the Democrats look like the elites. Now, there's a lot of truth to that 90% of the Democratic Party are elites who are corrupt politicians. But 100% of the Republican Party is corrupt politicians. But yet, the Democrats have once again, the serial bunglers that they are, have lost this marketing battle. And now it looks like the Republicans are with the average man.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.